Hi, this is Deborah from Dinglefoot.com, and this week I have a Mother's Day card to show you. So, I have a pink card and pink flowers. Of course, you'd want to change that to a color that your mother would like. So I have that. I have pink ribbon also. And I have pearl paper. Now, these are actually two different designs. This one has a kind of damask design on it, and this one has a striped design. So I'm going to be using that. I have silver stickles and silver embossing powder, and I have a little stamp, Happy Mother's Day. It's kind of hard to see on the camera there, but I have that. And since I'm stamping on pearl paper, I'm going to use some StazOn ink. You need some kind of solvent ink to make it stick to the pearl paper. I'm also going to be using my Score Pal. So I have that, and I have these little bitty die cut leaves and branches. So I have, they're just a little tiny one, and these are actually Martha Stewart. I got these at Michael's. So, but there are many punches and die cutting machines that will make the same thing for you. So I have those, and I think that's all I need. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I grabbed my Score Pal, and I just want to put the edge of my paper down on one of the little half-inch marks here, because right near it there are two little quarter-inch marks, and my paper is upside down. So my pearl design is this way, and I'm laying it down this way. And all this is going to do is make a nice little frame for my stamp. So you just place your paper down here and run your little tool right along here, and that's going to make the raised edge on the front. So do that here. Then I'm going to do the same thing. Just move it over so that this starts in about the same spot. And I'm going to make two more. I want that over just a little further. Okay, so I'm going to make two more. And this just makes a nice little frame for your stamped design. So you can see that my stripes are going down, and now I have two nice little raised edges, and I'm going to stamp right in the middle. So I'm going to grab my stamp, push that down in there. This would be nice if I had a really fancy stamp, but I only have these plain words, so that's going to work for me. And I'm going to, while it's wet, grab my silver embossing powder. I'm going to make it silver, and then I'll match my stickles that I have that I'm going to be using on my flowers. So tap off the extra powder back into your jar, and use your heat tool to get that embossed, and then we'll do the rest of the card. Okay, so there's the bottom of my card front there. I'm going to simply get that put in place. And these two pieces of pearl paper are going to touch in the middle. So I cut them so they'll fit, and we'll still have a little edge of pink sticking out around our card, but I do want these touching each other. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down so that they're touching each other, and that's what that little piece of ribbon I have is for. That's going to cover up that little division there where our two pieces of paper meet, so then we'll have a nice little finished edge. So this is going to go right on the front too. Okay. Okay, so I have that ready, and I cut this a little bit longer than the width of my card, but I'm simply going to take my glue gun and just glue that straight across and just cut off the extra. Okay, so now that our card's basically together for the design, we're just going to simply make a design with flowers. So you could kind of lay them out maybe the way that you want them before we actually glue them down. So I'm going to put some around here, and I tend to fill in later with the stems after I get the flowers the way that I want. So I'm just going to arrange these flowers here and there, maybe something like that, and then we'll get those glued in place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll finish up with the leaves and everything. Okay, now that my flowers are on here, I'm going to take my little leaves and things and just put a little bit of hot glue on the edges, and then just kind of slip them in underneath the flower petals. I'm going to put one there. And you can see how that brightens up your card right away. So it's almost like doing a little mini flower arrangement. I can stick one down here. And these flower petals are pretty forgiving. You can lift them up and place things underneath them pretty easily, because I only put the hot glue right in the centers of them, so I can easily lift these petals up like this and put a little leaf under. So I'll grab a couple more of these. I have some that are just a plain old leaf. I'm going to stick some of those in too. Okay, so you get the idea of that. It's pretty simple. And just keep working with it till it looks the way that you want it to look. And then we're going to finish up with the stickles that I was going to put in the centers of the flowers. So I'm going to put that underneath. If you ever get that hot glue on top, just take your embossing heat gun and just blow it over the top, and it'll melt those strings right away. Okay, so I would work with that a little more and make it a little more like a flower arrangement, but just for the sake of time, I just grab my stickles and I just put a dot right in the middle of these flowers. So just simply do that, and guess what? This card is done, and it's really pretty for Mom for Mother's Day. Thanks so much for watching.